Welcome back to Tech Garage presented by Advance Auto Parts. Now it's the moment of truth. Brian promised I would get home with my family and be able to eat some dinner with them. Well, I got the negative battery cable hooked up and it's time to go ahead and give it a test run. We got Chief Tech Chase in the car to go ahead and start it up. Let's see if it works, Chase. Man, it sounds great, and I never get tired of that cold air intake when it's sucking in the air. It's a great sound. I also promised you some tests we were going to run. Electrical test. Always starts with the battery. I'm going to use this old school VAT40. Why? So you can see the voltages and what's going on. There's a couple of newer methods that you can use, but this is pretty neat because I can actually demonstrate it for you. I'm just going to put the positive cable on the positive battery and the negative cable right across the negative battery terminal. Make sure they're secure. Once they're secure, you can see the voltage right here. We're actually pushing a little more than 12 volts. That's fine. Then I'm going to come up and I'm going to hook this around the negative battery cable. When I hook it up to the negative battery cable, I got to determine the cold cranking amps of the battery. So if the cold cranking amps is 600 cold cranking amps, I'm just going to cut it in half to 300. I'm going to load test it for 15 seconds. Well, what's going on? I'm actually taking all the amps into this carbon pile, and I don't want it to drop below 9.6 volts. So let's go ahead and do it. You want to watch two gauges. This one here is going up to 300, and this one here is dropping slowly. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We go to 15 seconds. Make sure it doesn't drop below 9.6. This one's fine. This battery's in good shape. If it wasn't, go down and get me a new Optima, put it in there. I'm not going to have any worries. Second test I can run, I can actually run a charging system test. That's simple. I want to know if the alternator's putting out. So I can come over here, I can go around the alternator wire, and I have to make sure it's putting out amperage to get over to the battery. So I just switch it over to charging, and what I suspect to see is some major amp. It's probably going to peg the needle here at first because I just took all the amps out of the battery and he has to replenish it. If it's not moving, it's not charging. Chase, give it another crank up. And there it's pegged. Now if we wait a while, it's going to come back, but this alternator probably is capable of 120, maybe 140 amps, and it's doing its job. But once it starts charging, it'll actually start to come back. Why? Because an alternator only puts out what a battery needs. Once the battery starts to charge up, the amperage will start to fall. This one's doing pegged and it's charging well, okay? Go ahead and shut it off. Now the final test I'm going to need a little help with. So Brian, you around there?
Sure am.
I'm going to have to disconnect a couple fuses over there, Brian, so the car doesn't start, so we can check the starter draw.
Well, a couple things you can do here. You can follow inside the fuse panel. You can find the fuel pump relay, or in this case, we can find the A side and B side, left and right bank fuel injector power. That way we can disable the power. We're not going to be shooting any fuel down in while we do the cranking test, and the vehicle won't run. So looks like those are 24, 26. John, you should be good to go.
Good. Now I'm just going to take the probe. I'm going to hang it around the actual wire going to the starter so I can see the amps that are going to the starter. This time we're going to watch the red scale right here. I got it on starting. It's disabled. I'll have Chase go ahead and crank it for about 4 or 5 seconds. Chase, let's see what that starter's drawing. Wow. Perfect. All right, so it hit about 200 amps and then it came back to about 100, 150. Absolutely perfect. Brian, if that thing was drawing 400 or 500 amps,
yeah,
not good.
Not
Mechanical
good.
resistance, we got a problem. Be careful. Diesels can draw up to 600 amps. You got a better way to do it.
I love all the fancy gauges, even though they're old school. But if you're in a little bit of a hurry and you want accuracy in this test, you can go to any Advance Auto Parts store. They'll throw out the EXP 1200 from Midtronics, which we call the ultimate truth teller, John. It tests the whole charging system path, the starter, the alternator, the battery, the energy, the cold cranking amps, and it'll print this off for you so you've got that for a reference. So that's the ultimate way to do the test if you need to, and I think we're about to get you back on the road, buddy.
I'll tell you what, that's the ultimate tester. I got the ultimate surprise for you. Hey, stick around. We got a little go-go juice, nitrous oxide to put on our project, RSX Resurrection. You've been talking about autocross and that?
Oh yeah.
Don't worry, stick around. You'll be doing it in no time soon.